Everyone, and welcome back to another Coast to Coast Live online showcase. My name is Adonis. I'm going to be your host for today's event, and as usual, I'm joined by three very special guest judges who will be overseeing this entire event today. So let me introduce them one at a time. First up on the judge lineup for today's online event, he is the Vice President of A&R over at Motown Capitol Records, SHAWN Barron. Welcome back to another Coast to Coast Live online showcase, SHAWN. How you doing, man?
Doing good. How about you?
Awesome. It's always a pleasure to have you, SHAWN. Thank you so much for joining us for today's online event. And, we always ask a question to our judges. My question for you today, SHAWN, for a new artist who is just starting out, what is some advice you could give them for give to that artist for them making the first step into the industry? So let's say they're making their first step into the industry. What's the best advice you could give them as an A&R?
Just to start out, I would just tell you to make sure your music is immaculate, it's flawless, it's the best work you've ever worked on. Don't step out too early and don't have songs that aren't mixed, aren't mastered. Like, just spend the time and and spend the quality control of making sure your music is perfect first before you even show it to anybody. I feel like I see a lot of that where your vocals are low or the beat is distorted or just all sorts of things like in that realm. So just make sure your music is perfect before you even step out. That's number one.
Definitely well said. SHAWN Barron, such a pleasure to have you, man. Thank you so much for joining us for today's online event. And up next on the judge lineup, he's a platinum producer. He's worked with artists such as Young Jeezy, LUDACRIS, Rick Ross, 50 Cent, 2 Chainz, and much, much more. You guys know him. It's DJ Pain One. DJ Pain One, welcome back to another Coast to Coast Live online showcase. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. How are you feeling?
Awesome. It's always a pleasure to have you, Pain One. Thank you for joining us today. And my question for you today, when is a good time for an artist to start advertising? Should they wait or should they start right away?
I mean, it depends on what your definition of advertising is. I think it's really a matter of what the artist's branding is. And so constantly analyzing and paying attention to who your fans are, even if there are only 10 fans, even if there are only 30 fans, just figuring out who they are, where they are, what they want, what their digital behaviors are. And for the most part, the majority of your investment as far as marketing goes is just going to be time. And, maybe you're going to invest in good graphic design or good videos, that kind of thing, just so that your content looks good. As SHAWN was saying, putting your best foot forward, releasing the highest quality content. I think a lot of musicians make the mistake of thinking that all they need is a bunch of money to throw at ads and then they're good. And that's really not the case, because you can spend $100,000 marketing a song and that song might get $100,000. You might spend $1 per listen. So maybe your song gets 100,000 plays. At the end of the day, that's not 100,000 fans. So where's your foundation? Where's your content? Where's your consistency? I think all of those things are far more important to consider for an artist, and the majority of them only cost time.
Definitely well said. DJ Pain One, thank you so much for joining us for today's online event. And last but certainly not least, he is a platinum producer. He's worked with artists such as Lil Wayne, Meek Mill, Gucci Mane, and much, much more. He's from 808 Mafia. Welcome back, SWEDE. SWEDE, welcome back to another Coast to Coast Live online showcase. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man. Good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. It's such a pleasure to have you, SWEDE. And my question for you today, what are some things you do in order to get inspired to make new music?
I make music every day, man. I go up in the morning and start working. The more you work, the more you get inspired, Just comes to you, So you gotta work constantly every day, no matter what.
Definitely. SWEDE, it is such a pleasure to have you, man. Thank you so much for joining us for today's online event. That's our star lineup of judges. We have a great lineup of artists as well. At least 14 artists today submitted a song or a video, which we'll watch live alongside all three of those judges. And today, the judges are deciding whether or not to give each artist a pass or a no pass. If an artist gets at least 2 passes, that means they're headed straight to the Coast to Coast Live World Championship, where they'll compete for the $50,000 in prizes. So we're going to kick this thing off with the first artist on today's lineup. Up first, we have Mellow Young. Mellow Young, now we do have you in the chat room. Let me go ahead and bring you on into the main room with me and the other three of the judges. All right, so Mellow Young, as we bring you on in to the main room so we can meet you real quick. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
What's going on, brother? Where you from?
I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, man.
Awesome. It's a pleasure to have you, man. Thank you so much for joining us for today's online event. And what is your social media so everyone could go ahead and go check you out?
Just you can either Google me or you can just look up my social media accounts. Just look up Mellow Young, MELOYOUNG, no space. I got Spotify, Instagram, at Mellow Young 3 bands. Then you can go to my YouTube social media accounts. It's all over.
All right, that's what's up. Now, Mellow, tell us a little bit about this song we're about to listen to here. I see it's got over 3,000 plays. This is a fairly new song. It's called Just the Beginning. What is this all about? What we're about to listen to?
Well, it's basically about the George Floyd incident. The reason me writing this song is because after seeing so many people feeling like so sad and hurts in their feelings and stuff like that, and I couldn't do nothing but engage into that. So something told me to write a Black Lives Matter song, and so that's what I did, man. It was very terrifying and it was very devastating. So, you know, because where I come from, I do represent Black Lives Matter. So, you know, it's very sad. Like I said, it's a sad song, but it's very touchy and it's pain. You know, it's good though.
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's take a listen. This is Mellow Young with his video, Just the Beginning. Let me go ahead and load this up. We'll be right back.